This was Louis Riddick, ESPN NFL analyst, on NFL Live yesterday talking about outside of the obvious. We know Trevor Lawrence is going to start. We know Zach Wilson is going to start in New York. But here's what Louis Riddick said about the rookie quarterback he thinks has the best chance to start after those two.
I'm going to go with Justin Fields week 5 for the Chicago Bears out there in Vegas on the road, simply because I just think the difference between him and Andy Dalton is so great that as soon as Matt Nagy can get him up to speed from a mental standpoint and get him comfortable to the point where he can execute enough of the offense, protect himself, and give them the best chance to win, he'll put him in there. And I just think that the disparity is just going to be too great. The gulf is going to be too wide in order for him to ignore it, much past the first quarter of the season, and you'll see number 1 in there.
So, Katie, there you have it. He goes Justin Fields, but in week 5. Of the rookie quarterbacks we mentioned, outside of the obvious two, which one do you think finds their way onto the field the earliest?
I kind of hate saying this because I really hope Cam Newton comes out and does a much better job in year 2 with Bill Belichick. He had a lot of ups and downs. He got COVID midway through the season, a season ago, and never really got right after that. So I'm hopeful that year 2 with the Patriots is different for him. Having said that, I think Mac Jones is in a position to have an early impact with the Patriots. We went through this draft process and we heard everything under the sun about these 5 quarterbacks. And yes, I think Justin Fields is going to be out on the field out of necessity for the Chicago Bears early. I just think Mac Jones is going to be ready more so than some of these other QBs other than Trevor Lawrence and Zach Wilson, because those are the guys on those 2 rosters. I think Mac Jones, from an intelligence standpoint, is something that is always touted. I remember when he went to the Senior Bowl, all of the coaches there were so impressed with the fact that he was able to pick up the offense as quickly as he did. We always talk about Alabama's offense, how it's pro style. I think that we're going to see a seamless transition from Mac Jones from Alabama to the New England Patriots offense. And I think because of that, everybody said he's ready. He's ready for the NFL. Obviously, Bill Belichick had no qualms about it. He was his guy. He didn't trade up for Justin Fields. He fell to him, and we saw how quickly he made the pick. It took about 3 seconds before the pick was in. I think that they love Mac Jones, and because he's going to be ready, I think we see him make an early impact.
It took him about 3 seconds to make the pick, but it took Mac Jones maybe even less time to power walk up to the stage at the NFL draft. We all remember that moment far too well. Chiney Golic Jr. here on ESPN Radio. We're presented by Progressive Insurance, protecting your business with specialized coverages for your commercial vehicles. More at progressivecommercial.com. And Katie, I agree. I think Mac Jones could see the field very early in this NFL season, but I still think I have to go with Lewis's answer, although I think I disagree on the week. He said week 5 when you get the Chicago Bears in Monday Night Football. I wouldn't be surprised if we see him week 1, Katie. Chicago at Los Angeles. I know it's big bad Aaron Donald, who last time we saw him on a field with someone making their debut in Alex Smith. We were all holding our breath last year with his first game back in a Washington football team uniform. But I just think that with the position the Bears are going to be in, desperation in that front office, desperation in that coaching staff, they're going to need as much time on the field with this quarterback, getting reps in to get him up to speed, because he's their saving grace. He's their only hope. This has to be not only a team that shows, yeah, we can do this with Justin Fields, Matt Nagy, I can meet him halfway and make him a great quarterback, but they've also got to do some winning, Katie. I wouldn't surprise me if the Bears need to make the playoffs in order for Matt Nagy and Ryan Pace to keep their jobs.
Neither of us chose Trey Lance. Why do you think that is? Do you feel like he has the biggest learning curve?
Katie, I think it's twofold. I think it might be learning curve, but I also think it might be just a lack of necessity out there. Kyle Shanahan, the clock hasn't started on his job, even though he's picked this quarterback. And we know Jimmy Garoppolo, when healthy, has been a quarterback that can win them games in the meantime. So they might have the luxury. I know the Mahomes trail of entering the NFL landscape isn't one that tends to be used over and over or work out for a lot of people, but they might be in the best spot. Katie, do you think he should be seeing the field earlier than that?
I don't think so, because of the point that you just brought up. And Jimmy Garoppolo, although he has struggled as of late and hasn't been able to stay healthy, he took the 49ers to a Super Bowl 2 seasons ago. That wasn't a long time ago, or a couple seasons ago. That wasn't far off. So I think for somebody like Trey Lance, it's the perfect situation to be able to go in, sit behind Jimmy Garoppolo, learn from him. And that's kind of what you hope for all of these guys. I know it's not going to be the reality because they are going to have to throw them out there because wins are needed. But I wish for a Justin Fields, he could sit, have a little bit of time to learn the offense before he's thrown to the wolves too soon. And then obviously, if he can't produce wins, he's going to have to answer to the Chicago Bears fans. I just hope that some of these guys get the time that they need to be successful in those moments when their number is called.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming, sports, and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.